Hey there. I have been asked a lot of times about my plugins every single time I make a video, or oftentimes when I make a post on Reddit, because my game looks so different compared to most people's. So we're going to go ahead and just make a quick video showcasing the plugins I use to make the game look the way that it does. We'll start with 117, which most people are already familiar with, but I have been asked about my specific settings since I have tweaked it to my personal tastes. And I'm going to go ahead and show those settings on screen here with a focus on the general tab, and then lighting, which you can change this depending on your PC specs. I actually just recently upgraded mine, so I'm going to bump it up a little bit. If you are struggling with some of the settings, decreasing shadow and dynamic lights is probably going to be your best bet. Next up will be environmental. This is a thing a lot of people I've seen complain about with 117 is the seasonal themes. If it is set to automatic, it is going to change with the season, which right now it's summer, so it's going to stay that. But if I were to swap it to winter, the ground will be changed to ice and the trees can be impacted. Same thing with autumn. It will give kind of a autumn sky, but I kind of like the default summer appearance of things, so I keep it on summer perpetually just because it feels more natural for me. The sky, I just have it set to automatic. That way, if I go somewhere like Mauritania, the sky and fog will automatically adjust to the area, and it gives it a really nice kind of spooky feel to it, which will look a lot different than, say, if you go to the Fremenic area. It will give you that, like, I'm really close to the ocean, the sky is kind of gray and bleak with a dense fog. The next thing I get asked about a lot, my tile indicator for whenever I am moving. I get asked about that a lot. That plugin is I believe improved tile indicator, which requires the regular tile indicator, and it will draw an overlay below the player, which I don't really use that much. Whenever I move, I have the destination tile set to RS3. That way I know exactly where I am heading. The next thing I get asked a lot about is my prayer book looking a certain way, or the blue color. That is a plugin called Resource Pack Hub, I believe. Yeah, or just Resource Packs. And then once you install that, you can look for specific resource packs. And I just selected the RuneScape 3 one. That way it gives me that RuneScape 3 kind of vibe, since I am a RuneScape 3 convert. I also get asked a lot about my cursor changing whenever I am hovering over things I can interact with, such as opening a door, climbing a wall, attacking an NPC, and that is called Contextual Cursor. See, if I turn it off, it doesn't do those things. If I turn it on, it gives me that very RuneScape 3 style interaction, which I just like because I can easily tell with a visual glance what I am about to do, so I'm not misclicking as much. I am also using an examine tooltip, which I've made function like RuneScape 3, so whenever I examine something, it will pop up on the screen, so I don't actually have to look down at the chat box, which is quite nice. And then my actual RuneLite settings, I have my game size set to these values. I messed with these a very long time ago, and I don't remember what each setting does, so I'm just going to quickly kind of scroll through it and give everyone a chance to look through each category. I will minimize everything. So we have the window setting here, notification settings, and overlay settings. Interface settings is set to modern layout, resizable, show data orbs, and then yeah, these are all pretty just as you prefer it style. I do also have the skill progress bars enabled, which will kind of show me in the UI how close I am to a level, although some people do and do not like that, so that is completely understandable if that is not something you prefer. The other thing that I have that gives me that kind of RS3 vibe is under interface styles, and you want to turn on high detail health bars, and that will give you that kind of RS3 style health bar above the head, which I just like. It gives me that this kind of in-between visual between old school RuneScape and RS3 that feels really nice, since I did play RuneScape starting back in the year 2001, and I didn't quit RuneScape until Group Iron Man came out for old school, and I converted over to old school RuneScape. So for me, it's kind of representative of all the changes RuneScape went through that I experienced, from the early old school look to the late RS2 look, to the not so wonderful evolution of combat look. And I've kind of kept the parts that I like about it to give me a combination of visuals. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I get asked about this every video I make and anytime I post screenshots from my game on Reddit. So I figured I would make this short little video to show the settings I have enabled to make my game look this way.